Welcome to Scoil Aireagail SolidWorks tutorials. This is Module 1, Lesson 1. In this clip we are going to build on the basics you learned during the in-class demonstration. The pace of this video will be slow and every step explained and shown clearly. This lesson will teach you some of the fundamental commands in SolidWorks, which in future videos it will be assumed you know these commands yourself. So it's important to pay attention in this clip in order to bring those skills forward with you. Right, so let's begin. So this is the object that we're going to draw today. So it is a basic cube design with some design features cut out of it to get practice on all the main commands you will use going forward in SolidWorks. So first thing we have to get used to is opening a new part. So if we go up here to our paperclip and click on New Part and OK. So that will give us a new part file that we have a completely blank screen on and we can start fresh on. So just a couple of brief words on the SolidWorks interface. So I would have mentioned this previously to you, but just to go through it again. So up the very top here, we have a couple of options. So we have Home, we have New, we have Open an existing file that you have Save, you have Print, and then you also have Undo, which is useful if you make a mistake and you spot it straight away. You can just click Undo and it resets to where you were previously. So these few commands at the top, that's called the menu bar. Beside the menu bar you have an arrow, and that gives you the drop down menus. Okay, so you have File, Edit, View, Insert, Tools, Simulation, Window and Help. If you'd like those to stay out there, you can click on that pin and that keeps those out, and it also pushes your menu bar over to the right hand side of it so that you fit everything in. So that's a decision you make yourself, whether you want it to stay out or use the arrow to get it to come in and out. What you have here then, these larger buttons, they are called the command manager. So whenever we have a sketch drawn and we want to make a 3D, or if we have something we want to cut a hole out of it, generally this is where we will find the commands here in your command manager. And just below them you have your tabs. So these small buttons, they're called tabs. The most commonly used ones will be the sketch tab and the features tab. Okay, they're the most commonly used ones that you will use throughout your 5 years or 6 years studying graphics and DCG. Over to the left here, we have what is called our design tree, or feature manager, sometimes it's called. Generally I call it the design tree, as you add things, they appear down along this list. So the more complicated the object, the longer this list is going to be. Up along here you have the heads up toolbar. So there's various things in here. So this first one will change the view of your object on the screen, so you can turn on perspective and shadows and things like that. The next one will put a scene in the background. Another one will let you to change the color or the appearance of your object. This one then has loads of different options in this, so it'll show your planes of references or hide them. This one will let you change your camera angle, things like that. This one then you can have your solid feature, or you can change it so that there's hidden detail in it, or wireframe, so on. Okay, so loads of options up here, including zoom and section view as well. So we'll use all those at various stages through the tutorials. Over to the right hand side then, what we have here is our task pane. So that will be used at various stages, particularly our appearances, scenes and decals. That's an important one. And then this whole blank space in the middle, this is called our graphics area. So if you hear me talking about go and click on the blank part of your graphics area, that means you find a blank space in this graphics area and just click. Okay. So that is the gist of our interface on SolidWorks. Okay, so let's begin drawing our cube design. So the first thing we do when we're ready to start making something in SolidWorks is we actually save first. Okay, so if we go up here, we'll see the save button. Okay, so if we click save, and you're always going to call it, so whatever the object is, you're going to call it that first. So we're going to call it cube design, and then you always put your name second. Okay, so name second, and that just makes it easy for both me and you to figure out who has done which work. Also, it's important where you save it. So what you will do now before you hit the save button is you will search for your folder. So you will have made a folder with your name on it, and you're going to save all your SolidWorks into that folder. So generally, I'll ask you to save either in desktop or documents. So if you click on either of those, find your name, your folder, and save it there. Okay, and then you hit the save button. And what you'll notice is up here, the name will change from part 1 to cube design. Okay, so that means now as we go along, every couple of minutes when we do something important, I'll come up and I'll hit save. And the reason for that is sometimes on SolidWorks, if you're doing a very important command, sometimes SolidWorks will crash because it's so hard on the computer. So it's best to be in the habit of saving so that you don't lose too much work if that does happen to you at some stage in your career. Okay, so that's saving the part. So we'll start sketching our object straight away. So the first thing we're going to do is go up to the tabs, click on the sketch tab, and click on the sketch command. And we're greeted with these. So these are called the planes of reference. So this ties in nicely with orthographic projection. So it's a topic you would have been studying since the end of first year. So basically what the front plane represents, it's like having an elevation of an object. So that is, you're standing directly in front of your house at home, you're looking at the front door and the front wall. That would be like having a front elevation or a front plane. Okay. This top plane then is you're a bird in the sky, you're looking down on your house and you're just seeing the roof of your house. That would be where you'd use a top plane. And the right plane would be you walk around to the side of your house, around to your gable end, and you're looking in at the side. That'd be a view from the right plane. Okay. So what you have to think about is what view are you going to look at your object from that'll make it easiest to draw. So in this case, the top plane is going to make it easiest for us to draw. That's something you will decide moving forward depending on the object you draw. So if we hover over top plane till it turns orange and then click on it. Okay, so another important thing appears then. So we get 2 arrows, and when I hover over where the 2 arrows meet, this orange dot appears. And that orange dot is called the origin, or else known as the beginning. Okay, that's what your origin means. So when we start sketching, our first sketch or our first circle or our first rectangle will always have to start at the origin. Okay, very important point. The reason for that is if we don't, later on our object can be pulled and twisted out of shape and out of the right place if it's not connected to the origin. Okay, so we can start sketching. So we've top plane selected, we're ready to sketch, and what we're going to click on is up here to our commands, and we're going to look for center rectangle. So if I click on the arrow beside the rectangle shape, we get center rectangle, click on that, and now I'm going to come down until that pencil is pointing at the origin and that orange dot appears. So when that orange dot appears, I click once and let go. Okay, and then this will happen. So for me to get this to stop, I'm going to come out any distance and click again. And there my rectangle will stay. Okay. So what I've just done here then is I've pressed escape a few times. That gets rid of the rectangle command so that I can go and click on something else and it won't affect it. Okay. So escape is a very important button to press every time you've finished using a command or any other button you've clicked. Hit escape after it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put a specific size on our rectangle. So we're going to make both sides of our rectangle 100 mil. So we're turning it into a square. So I'm going to come along. I'm going up to the top here and I'm going to hit Smart Dimension. Okay. You know you're after hitting the button when it turns dark grey. Okay. And I'm going to come along down. I'm going to click on the line once and move my mouse out to the left and click again. So this box appears, which will allow me to type in 100 millimeters and then click the green tick. Okay, I'm still in Smart Dimension because the box is still dark grey above. So I can click on this line and click again, type in 100 millimeters. And then I'm going to press Escape and that will get me out of Smart Dimension. So we have a rectangle or a square drawn. What we want to do now is turn it into 3D. So I'm going to go up here to tabs and I'm going to click on the features tab and I'm going to click on extruded boss base. Okay, so what that basically means is it's going to make this 3D for us. Okay, so we click on that. We're getting a preview already, even though we haven't told it what measurements to do. So if we come over here to where it says D1, so that is depth, we want to change it from 10 millimeters to 100 millimeters. And if I click on the blank part of the graphics area, that gives me a preview. And you'll probably be the same as me that this part has gone a little bit out of the screen. So if I press F on my keyboard, so F stands for fit, that will fit it into your screen so that you can look at it. So I'm happy with 100 mil. I'm going to click the green tick and there's my object in 3D. So just to get a look at this object, what you can do is move it around by clicking on the arrows on your keyboard. So if I click on the arrows on my keyboard, I can move it around in all the different directions to see what it looks like. And what I can also do is hold down the wheel of my mouse as if it was a button, and that will allow me to move it around as I move my mouse. Okay. When I want to get it back into a proper position, what I would do is press space bar, and if I want to look at it in a 3D view, I would click that isometric button. But if I wanted to look at it, say from the top looking down, I would click top and that will get me looking down on top of it. If you feel like that's too big on your screen, you can use the wheel of your mouse. If you roll it in one direction, it makes it smaller. And if you roll it in the other direction, it makes it bigger. So if you've made it massive and it doesn't fit in your screen, just press F on your keyboard again, and that will bring it back in. So now that we have something important done, such as this, we're going to hit the save button. Okay. One important thing to note when you hit the save button, you'll notice a wheel appear instead of your mouse, a blue wheel spinning around. So what that means is the computer is loading or completing the command and it needs a little bit of time to do so. So it's important when you're using SolidWorks to give your computer the time to do something. If you're trying to rush it, so if that wheel is there and I'm trying to click on loads of other things to try and get it to hurry up to do something, your chances of the computer crashing increase. So give your computer a chance, especially when you're completing a command. So if you're using anything up here, any of these options, give your computer a few seconds to complete it. Don't rush it, or the chances of your computer crashing and you losing your work increase a lot. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to click on this face up here. And we get a load of options appear here. And we're going to click on the one that says normal to. So normal to means we're going to look 90 degrees to the face that we've clicked on. So I'm going to click on sketch and the sketch command. So what we're going to do here is we're going to select corner rectangle. So we have to click the arrow beside rectangle again, click on corner rectangle. And what we're going to do is from this corner over here, so when I'm at the corner, an orange dot will appear. So click on that orange dot once, move my mouse in the way, and then click again to get it to stop. And I'm going to press escape a few times to get rid of that command. Now I'm going to go up to Smart Dimension. I'm going to click once, click again, and I'm going to type in 80. And then I'm going to click once, click again, and type in 80. So what I'm about to do next then is I want to cut, using this sketch, down into this object. Alright, so we're going to go to Features. We are going to go to Extruded Cut. And we're going to change it from 100 to 80 millimeters. And there, that gives me a preview, showing me what it's going to look like. And I'm happy enough with that, so I'll click the green tick. And there we have the first little part taken out of it. So next up, we're going to click on this face, and when our options appear here, we're going to click Normal 2, and we're going to go to the Sketch tab, Sketch Command, and we're going to draw in another corner rectangle, except this time it's starting here on this corner. So I click once, move my mouse in, and click again. I'm going to go to Smart Dimension and change this to 60. Smart Dimension, change this to 60. Okay, so that shows where that sketch is. And I'm going to go to Features, Extrude a Boss Base, and I will change our measurement to 60. There we have what it's going to look like. So I click the green tick there again. Okay, so we keep going. I'm going to click on this face now this time. Normal 2, Sketch tab, Sketch Command, corner rectangle again. We're starting out here. Bring it in, press escape a few times, and I'm going to Smart Dimension 40 and 40. Okay, so then when I go to Features and Extrude a Cut, I get my preview. So 60 is too much, I want to change that to 40 mil. Green tick, and there we go. So one more time, click on this face, Normal 2, Sketch tab, Sketch Command, we'll select corner rectangle, in we come. This time we're going to make it 20 and 20. So what we'll notice now is I've actually drawn that in the wrong place. So this is an opportunity for us to figure out, if we do make a mistake, how do I fix it? Okay, so the easiest way for me to get rid of all this is to go up to our undo button that I mentioned earlier. Click undo, click it a few times, and there we have it. We're back to where we were before I drew in any of that. So now we can go again. We can click on this face, and we will go for our corner rectangle. We will start in this corner, work our way out. We'll go Smart Dimension 20 and 20. So that looks much better now. Looks like it's supposed to. So we go to Features, Extrude a Boss Base, and change that to 20. And hit the green tick. Okay. So there's our object, fully drawn. Okay. So I'm going to hit save again. And now I'm going to look at my materials. Okay, so I'm just going to decide that I want to make this out of timber. Okay, So what I'm going to do is go over here to where it says material not specified. I'm going to right click on that and click edit material. So I got all these options of different types of materials. So I'm going to go down here to woods and I'll select cedar and I'm going to click apply and then close. So there we have it. That cedar is applied. It says over here that the object is made from cedar. And when later on we get into using Photo View 360, that will make this object look like it's actually made of timber. It'll look very realistic. Okay, so I'll hit save again. And all the time that's saving it into your folder for you. You don't have to be saving it manually into the folder all the time. So that is Module 1, Lesson 1 fully complete.